Hey guys, welcome to the patch notes 2.01, the first small patch after the big 2.0 patch, with some small balance tweaks, but not too much. So mostly in response to some emergent issues from 2.00, King felt a bit too weak, Forsaken was too strong, Supply felt bad, Leaks reached the King too fast. So let's start with the movement speed. All waves and mercenaries movement speed decreased from 400 to 250. When both players' battles end, waves and mercenaries' movement speed increases from 250 to 450. When you clear, your fighters will port immediately to defend the king. So you probably, the ones of you that already played this patch, there was an issue right when I deployed this patch, that basically when there were still mercenaries left, that they still ported. But I think this is fixed now. But yeah, these changes make it so that the holders fighters more consistently arrive before league units reach the king. Yeah, there was sometimes bugs with the king that the king didn't attack when there was a holder still, and this should help that the guy who clears is there to defend before the creeps reach the king, because that doesn't feel good. Like if there's someone holding, then give him the chance to hold. You know what I mean? So yeah, this will help. King and economy. So the king usually needed to do 7 hits before he could use his AoE. Now it's 6 hits, which probably better reflects 2v2. Then also economy. Workers' train time is now 3 seconds, so you got to be careful now about canceling workers, because these workers are quick now. But since you kind of get like double the workers, the train time had to be a little bit quicker, especially if like, let's say they send 12 and you have like 400 gold you can spend. That's 8 workers, and that's 40 seconds. Or if you push workers after 15, the double workers. So this helps getting the workers a little bit quicker. Also, supply got changed. Starting supply cap is now 20, which means you don't have to upgrade supply at wave 5 anymore. You could probably sit it out until 20, even if you build T5 and T6 fighters. Until wave 10, I wanted to say. And if you get like oh yeah, if you get the supply spell, it didn't get changed. So I guess the supply spell still does plus 30. Yeah, we'll see. So supply upgrades also upgrade 20 per level now, but the supply cross has been increased again to the old level, which is 50 plus 25 per level. So your first supply upgrade comes 33% later, and upgrading supply is now 6.25% cheaper. 2 Legion spells have been changed. Hero, which was a really good spell before without the aura change, because it basically affected all the creeps, and the damage amplification is like really good for all your fighters. So now they buff it by 1% because it basically only buffs 6 units anymore. But they don't want to overbuff it, because if you have White Mane and Hero and like a head chef as well, then those units are almost immortal. So this is the reason why they don't overbuff it, because you can't overbuff it too much. I think this is still a viable spell. But what also got changed is the sorcerer spell. Spell damage amplification goes down to 8%, but it now has a mana regeneration as well. So that could be interesting, but we will see later. There's also some changes to Starcaller, but let's continue. Big element changes coming in this patch. Rogue Wave. Delusion now amplifies damage taken from spells by 20%. No longer ignites a target or anything. And Fire Elemental, damage down, bounce back, and combustion is nerfed to 50 damage over 2 seconds, but it no longer requires Delusion to ignite. That means you no longer need to build Rogue Wave and Fire Elemental together, but you can, because all the creeps, like when you build a Rogue Wave, which is like a really good support unit now for spells in general, you can simply combine it or not. But I honestly recommend now to start Fire Elemental. I think that would be good, because they ignite the units by itself, and just build a Rogue Wave later on to kind of help a little bit with the support. Or you could even build Rogue Wave in combination with like Death Cap or Disciples or whatever. So that all works. Then the big question about Mudman. Was it a bug or not that the Harden would reset if you upgrade the Mudman? And it was a bug, so now it It doesn't remove the harden penalty, and now they basically persist the status of harden to the upgrade, which is a nerf from Mudman and Golem, but it's supposed to be like that, so it's okay. And there's a promised Starcaller change. Amplify Magic now has a mana regeneration of only 15% anymore, but the spell damage amplification, which was not there before, is now 15%, which means you can now build a Starcaller and build like death caps around it, for example. That's 15% spell damage amplification. That's more than the old Sorcerer spell. If you combine it with Sorcerer, you have, well, if you just add it, you have 23%, but they multiplicate a little bit, so it might be a little bit more than 23%, maybe, probably not 24, but it could be 24% already. But yeah, like they usually don't add up like this because it's amplification, so it's like multiplicative, but yeah, whatever. But yeah, which means in general, with mana units, I mean, it's now way easier, definitely, to buff units, especially if you go Violet Starcaller, because that's no problem anymore, because they will keep the aura. But yeah, also new options to combine it with other spell damage sources. So now synergies is better with non-mana units with spell damage, such as Fire Elemental, Death Cap, and Fatalizer. So what you could do right now is, for example, you could start Fire Elemental, then later Hellbit with Starcaller, or, well, Rogue Wave is also supporting it, so you have a lot of options now in Element, and I really like that. Green Devil has a new passive ability from 2.0, and people claim it's a little bit too strong, so it's gonna get reduced by 1 damage, the normal damage of Green Devil. I'm not sure if that's really gonna help too much, because you can really make sure that they have like the lifesteal of Headchef and Butcher all the time, and the Butcher basically is still there supporting them. But we will see. I think this is not enough. I think Green Devil and Gargoyle are still really viable picks in combination of Butcher. And more changes to Gateguard and Harbinger. Can't really say it's a big nerf to Forsaken. They lose 1 damage and 10 health on the Chaos Hounds. And on the Cerberus they lose 60 HP and... yeah, 60 HP on the Harbinger and 30 HP on the Cerberus. That's what I wanted to say. But now, if the Harbinger or the Gateguard has an aura, their summons will also have the aura. And I think that makes them way stronger. If you combine them right now, you wouldn't really have combined them. But you can probably combine them with a Headchef now if you want to. And those... or even a White Mane, honestly. And those summons are going to be really tanky as well. So I like this change, but I think it's probably more of a buff than a nerf here. In addition to that, also a lot of Death and Hades got changed, of course. So a small nerf on Hades with the imp damage, but they also get the auras now that a lot of Death and Hades have. So their summons are also stronger now. And of course, Butcher and Headchef got nerfed again. They're back to their old values with 5 life on it and 10% lifesteal, and 10 life on it and 15% lifesteal. Basically, because you can predict it way better now which units get the lifesteal and which units don't. And I think that makes the unit stronger. I think still it's kind of stronger than before. But still keep in mind that you don't tank with these units because they have range now. Honeyflower start is a little bit too strong, and they're nerfing it by 20 HP, the health of the Honeyflower. It may not sound like a lot, but this can already make the difference between getting another hit out, like another 10 magic damage for all the creeps, and not getting another hit out. So this can make a difference. Because a lot of people complained about it, and also because Butcher Headchef got nerfed a little bit, Vulture and Canopy are getting buffed. Vulture, like, they get better values, but also Vulture gets changed a little bit, so it has a better attack speed but less damage, which makes it stronger in the first 3 waves. And also keep in mind, even though there's only like really small HP buffs here, that with the new movement speed of the waves and the mercenaries, Canopy and Vulture can definitely heal up more before the wave arrives them. And to sum it up, some buffs to waves. Level 5, which was a wave that, yeah, it was hard to make people leak there unless they really greed it. So there's going to be some buffs to it, especially because the Scorpion King now spawns in front. So I've never seen people leak the Scorpion King, honestly, because it's so easy to target him early. So some buffs that they have some more health, probably gonna help, probably gonna make more people save for 5 again. But yeah, you need a decent send on 5 to actually make someone leak. And with this new Mythium, people have to get used to it, but we will see. Also some buffs to 18 and 19, I think that's fine, because everyone is sending like 16, 17, but 18, 19 people don't really want to send on those waves. So everyone goes like 20, but even 20 was a little bit weak, so it also gets buffed. But yeah, there we are. So what can we say about this patch in general? I would say it's very interesting with the movement speed. That's something that, yeah, we will have to see. I'm not sure if 250 is, that might be a little bit too slow. That's actually pretty good for ranged units. If you have ranged units and there's a melee level, because you're doing way better, because the creeps just take longer to get to you. So that's going to be very interesting. I can see very interesting synergies between Rogue Wave, Fire Elemental, and in general spells. That's going to be interesting. I think Fire Elemental Start is going to be the new thing, and that you just add the Rogue Wave like later. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not for 6, maybe for 7. That you actually go Fire Elemental into like Violets. No idea. Or that you simply combine them with other units. That if you do a Honeyflower Start. That's already a tactic that people go Honeyflower Start and then build a Rogue Wave, simply because they work good for level 3 and 4 and so on, and that's a big buff for Honeyflower, honestly, if they work with Rogue Wave together. So that's going to be some very interesting synergies that I really look forward to. Okay, well, that's it. It was not the biggest patch, but still some balance that was needed. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you again another time, guys. Bye-bye.